In this lesson, let's take a look at the 5 patterns of the minor pentatonic scale and how we can move them around to be able to play in 7 different keys in each position of the guitar neck. So if we start with A minor pentatonic, here it is from G. Here's A minor pentatonic from A. Here's A minor pentatonic from C. Here's A minor pentatonic from D. And then here it is from E. Just the 5 patterns of the scale. So if we take those 5 patterns and say we go back to A minor pentatonic on the 3rd fret here, starting from G. And what if we move the pentatonic scale now to B minor pentatonic, but from F sharp this time, and then we go to C minor pentatonic from G, and then we want to go to D minor pentatonic, starting from D, E minor pentatonic, starting from G, and then we want from E minor pentatonic we go to F minor pentatonic, starting from A flat, and then from F minor we go to G minor. Now, how did I find each one of those positions? There's a couple ways you can figure this out until you really learn all of the notes. The first and foremost thing that you want to pay attention to, going back to A minor pentatonic, is how the pentatonic scale connects across the fretboard. You have 5 notes, A, C, D, E, G, and A. So if I start here on G and I go G, A, C, D, so on and so forth, the next pentatonic pattern has to start on the next note of that scale on the 6th string. If I started on G, second note is A, so the next pattern would be A starting there, and then A to C. So even without you fully knowing all of the notes, just these patterns, just these shapes that we're following to be able to play the scale will help you to navigate how to connect one pattern to the next. Ultimately, you want to be able to know the notes in each key, in each scale, of course. But this is a really good place to start, and you can sort of count your way through from there. So for example, if I go back here again, A minor pentatonic starting from G. Now, the next closest note that I'm thinking to in B minor pentatonic, what you'd want to do is go to the root, B, D, E, F sharp, A, and B. Notice right away I'm talking about the notes because it's almost impossible to not want to or need to connect the notes in relationship to the pattern. But if you can see how in B minor pentatonic we would go here for pattern 1, of course the next pattern would start on D, and the next pattern would start on E, and then the next pattern from there would start on F sharp. But this at least gets you to the ballpark to be able to quickly find the starting note. So the closest note in this position to play B minor pentatonic would be what I call pattern 5, starting from F sharp. Now B and C are always a half step apart, so of course C minor pentatonic would just be a half step higher. Same exact pattern. That's going to work no matter where you are on the fretboard. And then from there, D minor pentatonic, if we go to the root, D, F, G, A, C, and D, well, here's the root pattern. There it is from F, what I call pattern 3. Now this is up an octave, of course, but pattern 4 would start from G. That puts us into the 3rd fret, starting from G for D minor pentatonic. So you can see how I'm kind of just very quickly building each one of the notes and each one of the scales in relationship to that one position. This is probably the easiest way to get there. But from there, you're going to want to memorize this and practice going from scale to scale and from pattern to pattern and from position to position. So if I put a track on, for example, and we can do this in small pieces, we can practice what we just did with this track. I have this track on my YouTube channel that you can practice with. Here's B minor pentatonic. Here's C minor pentatonic. D minor. E minor pentatonic. F minor, G minor, here's A minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic. So I'm going up to the next position here. C minor pentatonic, D minor pentatonic, E minor, add the blue note, F minor, G minor. So you get the idea here. That's these two positions. Now, of course, we can go through the other three and just kind of go one by one and practice them. But this is how you're going to want to practice them. Now, there's a few different things you can do. Number one, you could just go slow and simply play the scale. On this backing track, each one of these chords happened for 4 bars. I'll back this up a little bit. And let's practice that from here. So, these are triplets. Here's B minor. C minor, here's D minor, E minor, F minor, and then we want G minor. Here's A minor. B minor now. C minor. D minor, E minor, so here's F minor, G minor, A minor. Now from here, once you get used to playing in each one of these little blocks, then of course you can work your way out and you can use more than one position. So what I recommend you do here is kind of work your way down and then up, and then as you get more comfortable, add more notes and add more positions, if you will. So this is B minor right now. So if I think, so this is D minor, and then E. So, of course, the point of this exercise is practicing in one position so you can get a really good idea of where you're at, as well as really memorizing and practicing where each one of these scales fall in each key. So then this way, when you're working it in a song that changes keys, or if you just simply want to superimpose pentatonic scales over chord changes, these are all really good things to have under your belt to be able to do this. On my site, I have a whole bunch of exercises that cover pentatonic scales that you can practice at 15 tempos. I'll put a bunch of links down below that you can practice there, and I'll put a link to this backing track as well that you'll be able to practice with. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you next time.